Beloved, listen to me. Do not be fooled by his silence. Silence is not absence. Silence is not forgetting. Silence is not freedom. He is still watching you. He is still carrying the imprint of your presence like perfume on his skin, like a song he cannot turn off, like a memory that keeps waking him in the middle of the night. You may think he has moved on. You may think you are invisible to him now, but Spirit wants you to know your essence lingers. Your laughter still echoes in the back of his mind. Your strength still unsettles his soul. And though his mouth will not speak it, though his pride will not show it, though his body may be far from you, his eyes are still following. His spirit is still tethered. His heart is still restless in your absence. But hear me, my love. This is not about him. This is about you. His silence is not a reflection of your worth. His watching does not define your beauty. His lingering does not determine your value. What Spirit is showing you is this: you are unforgettable. You are the kind of woman a man cannot unsee once his soul has been marked by your presence. And if you can sit with that truth, if you can hold that knowing, then his silence will no longer wound you, it will affirm you. Because the reason he is silent, the reason he is still watching, is not because you are lacking. It is because you are more than he can hold. This is your holy remembering. You are not waiting for his words, his validation, his return. You are the storm that shifted his spirit. You are the light that exposed his shadows. You are the prayer he did not know how to keep. And whether he speaks it or not, whether he comes back or not, whether he watches from afar until his last breath, you must never forget, you are the one who left him with silence. And yet you are the only sound he cannot escape. Beloved, when a man goes silent but still keeps his eyes fixed on you, it can twist your heart in ways you don't even have words for. Because silence has a weight. Silence has a sound. Silence has a way of making you question everything you gave, everything you were, everything you still are. You sit there asking yourself, why is he quiet? Why is he distant? Why is he still here in the shadows, watching, when his words have disappeared? And in those questions, something inside of you begins to ache. And that ache is not just about him, my love. That ache is about every time you have ever been unseen, every time you have ever been unheard, every time you have ever been made to believe that your existence wasn't enough to fill the silence. I want you to hear me now with your spirit and not just with your ears. His silence is not emptiness. It is not rejection. It is not proof that you were too much or not enough. His silence is a mirror that shows you the impact you had, the presence you carried, the mark you left upon his life. See, people can walk away from your hand, but they cannot walk away from your essence. And what you must come to know deep in your bones is that his watching is not about you chasing, not about you waiting, not about you trying to decode a man's silence as if it were scripture. No, my love, his watching is the evidence of your sacred power, the kind of power that lingers long after your feet have left the room. And I know sometimes that silence feels like punishment. Sometimes it feels like abandonment. Sometimes it feels like he has taken the best of you and left you with questions that won't let you sleep at night. But let me tell you a story, because stories are how the soul remembers truth. There was a woman who gave her all to a man. She gave her laughter, her tenderness, her body, her prayers. She held him through storms he didn't even have the courage to name. She believed in him when he could not believe in himself. And when he left, when his voice grew cold and his words turned to silence, she thought it was because she had failed him. She thought it was because she was too loud, too needy, too soft, too much of something, and not enough of something else. She thought his silence was her shame. But years later, she learned the truth. That man never stopped watching her. He never stopped asking about her. He never stopped carrying the memory of her in his spirit. And do you know why? Because what she gave him was not something that could be undone. What she carried was not ordinary. What she poured into him was not disposable. He went silent, not because she wasn't enough, but because her presence shook his spirit in ways he wasn't ready to confront. Hear me, daughter of God, your silence is more powerful than his. Because when you no longer beg for words, when you no longer chase explanations, when you no longer shrink yourself to fit inside a man's silence, you rise into the knowing that you are the one who holds the sound. You are the one who holds the light. You are the one who holds the memory that he cannot escape. And even if he never says it, even if he never shows it, even if he sits in his pride until his last day on this earth, you must know this truth. He is watching because you are unforgettable. This is not just about relationships. This is about lineage. This is about history. This is about the way women for generations have been made to believe that their silence, their waiting, their questioning was proof of their worthlessness. Our mothers, our grandmothers, our ancestors, they were taught to measure themselves by how loudly a man spoke their name. They were taught to believe that absence was abandonment, that distance was rejection, that quiet meant they did not matter. And here you are, carrying that same wound, not even realizing that spirit is trying to heal it through you. Because his silence is not punishment. It is revelation, a revelation of your power, a revelation of your impact, a revelation of the truth that you are not the one who is forgotten. You are the one who is unforgettable. And I know it hurts, my love. I know it burns in the middle of the night when you see him watching, but not speaking, present but not reaching, near but not holding. I know it makes you question whether you should lower yourself, whether you should step back into chasing, whether you should silence your own soul just to hear his voice again. But I am here to remind you, no man's silence is greater than your sacred sound. No man's watching is greater than your divine presence. No man's withholding is greater than what God has already placed inside of you. So breathe. Beloved, breathe into the ache. Breathe into the questions. Breathe into the part of you that still wants to beg for answers. And as you breathe, let Spirit remind you you do not need his words to affirm your worth. You do not need his presence to validate your beauty. You do not need his watching to prove your power. You are the miracle he is still watching silently because he knows, whether he admits it or not, that he lost something he may never find again. And that truth, my love, is not to make you arrogant. It is not to make you bitter. It is not to make you wait. It is to make you free. Free to know that your value is not diminished by silence. Free to know that your essence is not erased by absence. Free to know that you are not the woman waiting in the shadows to be seen. You are the woman who shines so brightly that even in silence, even in distance, even in pride, you cannot be unseen. So let his silence be his lesson. Let his watching be his burden. Let his pride be his prison. but let your spirit be free, free to love yourself, free to walk away, free to rise, free to remember that you are whole with or without his words. Because at the end of the day, beloved, the only eyes you need watching you are the eyes of the divine. The only voice you need speaking to you is the voice of your own soul. And the only presence you must never abandon is the presence of your own sacred self. And when you remember that, when you really truly remember that, you will no longer ache for the silence of a man. You will no longer be haunted by the watching of someone who could not hold you. Instead, you will stand rooted, radiant, and free, knowing this simple, holy truth. You were never waiting to be seen. You were sent to be remembered. Beloved, take a breath with me. Right here, right now. Close your eyes if you must. Let your shoulders drop and let the air move through you like a river of release. Because before you leave this space, before this moment passes, I need you to hear something that your soul has been waiting for, maybe all your life. You are not a mistake. You are not a leftover. You are not the silence that broke you. You are the sound that carries through eternity. I want you to remember this. Not in your head, but in your bones. You are the prayer somebody once whispered under their breath. You are the dream an ancestor dared to dream when the world told her to shrink. You are the light that will not go out, even in the darkest silence, and no man's absence, no man's pride, no man's watching from the shadows can ever undo what God has already spoken over your life. So when you feel the ache, let it be a teacher, not a tormentor. When you feel the silence, let it be a mirror, not a verdict. When you see him watching but not speaking, let it be your reminder. Your presence lingers because your spirit is unforgettable. And you, my love, you do not need to chase what already knows your worth. Rest now in this truth. You are the beginning and the continuation of your own story. You are the sound that breaks generational silence. You are the one who remembers when others forget. You are the one who rises when others retreat. You are the one who returns to herself again and again until you know without question, I was never waiting to be chosen. I was born chosen. So may you walk from this moment with your head lifted. May you lay down the weight of waiting. May you breathe in your own sacredness like the sweetest air. And may you never again measure your worth by the words or the silence of any man. Because the truth, the holy truth, the unshakable truth is this: you are whole, you are holy, and you are already home.